Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Threesome FPL podcast. We came back after that utter rubbish of a weekend in fantasy football. We're still here for you. I'm Phil, and I'm here with Anthony, who's got a gleaming face on the webcam today.
Yeah, I don't know why, because it doesn't really got any better for me this week, but we'll get onto that. But I'm happy, but not so much with FPL. But
have you got a new webcam? New webcam?
No, not new, but I am back in the
Oh.
bedroom, back where the magic happens today, boys. So maybe that's why.
Welcome to his crib.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
His would not be this cool, to be fair. So yeah, with his Jensen Button helmets and boxes of chocolates. There you go.
Do you want me to change the sound clip now, Ant? Because that is related to a player who's currently under investigation for a lot of things.
Negative connotations.
I'll try and find some
wrong.
commentary of the IndyCar racer Kellett.
But was it not reference? Could it be reference to Jaden Anthony, who, whilst currently on loan in the Championship, is a Premier League asset?
This is true.
I'll see what YouTube clips I can cut apart.
Thank you.
Sorry. And that other critical voice is Mike. How are you, Mike?
Howdy, partners. Yeah, very well, though. Very well. Struggling to do a sentence, but apart from that, all good.
Good. So, I mean, what is going on then with fantasy football? The average scores this year feel like they're about half of what they were last year, and it just doesn't seem. And it might, I'm not doing great. Yeah, that's good. Please, we'll get to you. I'm not doing great, but it feels like no one's doing great, and the average scores are like 44. And, in previous years, average scores have been like going up to 70, 80 on a regular basis. And unless Haaland bangs a hat-trick, the average score seems to be really low. Is this a Harry Kane thing? Is it that there's like only one, maybe two premiums that you'd want?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think that's a really good thing. I think the margins are a lot smaller now. I think if you didn't have Salah and Haaland last year, or Kane, two of those three, then you were really struggling. And I think there are a lot more. Yeah, like I say, the margins are for error is a lot smaller, and everything's just concertinaed up. So I think you can have a bad week and it doesn't put you out of the running by any means. And I think there are also lots of little differentials where, a 5-point haul from a player might not have been such a big deal 12 months ago. Now, if Diaby gets you if Watkins gets you an assist or Diaby gets you a goal, then you're absolutely delighted about it. And I think there were big scores, but we were all getting the same big scores. We all had the same players,
sorry.
No, go on.
Right, and the amount of people who have got Chilwell, who has been
oh my goodness.
Chilwell, Jackson, Maddison, Matoma, and Burmo. So just blank. You doggy, or whoever his name is, blank. So many people have got these players. Estupinan didn't play. I suppose it's what it is. What it's teaching me, and certainly should be teaching everyone, I think, is variation isn't a bad thing. And as long as they're players that play, this season seems well worth having a punt. Don't trust the big teams like Chelsea and United, because both of them look rubbish. And I don't know if you remember the first pod we did of the season, you asked us for top 4 predictions, and I said Spurs would be in the top 4 and United wouldn't, and you both laughed at me.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I don't remember the laughter, but yeah,
the only
I do remember that.
thing I remember. Something I do remember is last week, I feel like Brighton will batter United. Correct.
You did call it.
You do know too much.
Don't think you have to be a genius to see that coming. So, shall I do my game week first and get that over?
Yeah. Go for it.
It's
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I can feel your pain, Phil. Feel your pain.
Yeah. So Flecken, I picked a 4.5 goalkeeper a few weeks back on my wild card. Thought Flecken, it's got a funny name. Nothing wrong with that. Single point, conceded the penalty. Then, which to be fair, Anthony Gordon knew what he was doing. Then got angry and argued about it and got booked. Perfect. Trippier, oh my goodness. I mean, bookmark this moment because that is the highlight of my week. Trippier, 8 points. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Went early on Trippier, so I was well happy with that. Chilwell, oh, he's ill, not playing. Okay, well that's fine because I've got Saliba on my bench and he's got 6 points. Bring him on for 5 minutes and then get him booked for shouting at the referee or something. 0 points. You doggy 2 points. Maddison, I did say I was going to kill him, and I did.
I hate you for that.
I had to. It was a defensive move. Maddison is always a burn for me. He always stitched me up. So anyway, I got him in to stop you getting points. 1 point.
Thank you for that.
Foden 2, Batoma 2, Saka 6, and Burmo 2. Haaland captain 12. Now, you know the
Boring.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nicholas Jackson.
Oh.
I mean, that was the first Bournemouth game I've watched this season, and it was the first time I've properly seen Nicholas Jackson, and he was awful. I mean,
he was so bad.
Like, I know it's important not to bag on people too much, but he is not a very good player. Regardless of playing for Chelsea, he could be playing for, Real Madrid. He wouldn't get goals. He's not very good. Why do I own him?
I think you've got to look about the team around him as well, though. I mean, I was reading out the lineups. Hadn't really paid much attention to them, which I probably should have done, because there was somebody called Leslie Ugo Chukwu in the team, which at the moment of reading the teams, that took me a bit by surprise. But yeah, I spotted obviously that Chilwell wasn't involved, and actually, I think you said he wasn't well. But Pochettino in the press conference afterwards was talking about Mudryk playing that most advanced role that Chilwell's been playing. So I'm not sure that Chilwell necessarily comes straight back in. I think they're going to play a flat back four, and Mudryk will play that advanced role. So even if Chilwell does start, I don't see him being potentially the asset we all thought he might be. I mean, he hasn't been, but
it was that game he had against someone, maybe it was like Spurs or something, first week of the season. I can't remember who he was playing.
Liverpool,
maybe. He looked dynamite. He was in the box all the time. And then since then, he's done what Chilwell does best and collected a load of 1-pointers, or indeed this week, 0-pointers.
Yeah.
I made the call to play Foden over Alvarez. So Alvarez first up got 9 points. Saliba on my bench got 6. Areola even, against Man City punched me in the face before. So my bench had 19 points. My whole team got 37.
Yowza.
So that was good. My whole team got 5 more points than Mike spent on transfers.
Mate, we suck at this game.
All I'm clinging on to here, Mike, is your net points for this week. So how did you get on?
Net points is a good question. Let's have a look.
Get your points that you got and then take off 32.
Thank you. So I got 48 points. But I spent 32. So I sit on 16 for the week.
For those who didn't listen to the podcast last week, Mike accidentally played a second wild card that he didn't have, and it cost him 32 points, and you couldn't undo it.
No, I couldn't. And you said to me last week, well, are you going to now spend a load of points trying to retrieve your old team? The answer is yes. So
you had a pretty good week.
No, not happy with it. So I've made 4 transfers.
Mike is back.
Yeah.
Oh, I've missed him. I have missed him.
So we're up to 13 transfers in the last 2 game weeks.
Messy.
And it has. But in terms of points for the weekend, Turner came in like a lot of people. I was watching Turner last night, but only the 2 there. Saliba got me 6. Trippier, I also went early. He got me 8.
What?
Udogie, Rashford, Maddison, and Son all disappointed with my captaincy on Son. Thank you to dear listener for picking my captain last week. Darwin got me the 1 point. He's immediately been transferred out. One guy that I'm really happy with, and I bought him in straight away when he moved, is Ward Prowse, who consistently is picking up points for me. So he got me 7 at the weekend. Alvarez again had it from the outset, got me 9. and Haaland I wasn't able to captain, so he got me 6. So all ends up 48, but yeah, net of 16. And actually, if you take into account the 4 transfers I've just made, I'm sitting on 4 points.
Winner.
If you want to look at it that way.
So what are the 4 transfers you just made?
Yeah, good question. So I've bought Flecken in because I know you were
Come to me. What you need to do,
amazing.
Mike, as someone who's owned Flecken,
yeah.
right? He has got a fun name to say, and when you
Yep.
say it, you do accidentally spit sometimes.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He's not a very good asset on this game. I've
Well,
owned him for a while.
I've got Areola, and Areola will, for a large portion of the season, will be my number 1 choice. But going into this game week, they play Everton and they're home. So,
Yeah.
and then they're away at Forest. So those are two pretty decent fixtures. What I would say is if you're looking at wildcarding, and every week, more and more people seem to be.
You seem to be.
Yeah. That Leno and Areola rotate really nicely. So I really wanted to have him, but because of what I've done elsewhere, I didn't have the budget. I think it was only 0.1 of a million, but I didn't have that extra bit of money to.
Who
to make that work.
rotates?
Leno and Areola. There it is.
Look at his little face.
So loud in comparison.
You're gonna love the other transfers I've made. Absolutely love them.
I really do need
Here
to
we go.
apologise if you've just crashed due to the Leno sound clip.
So I've bought in. I had a little look at the games this week, and I thought, who I want to bring in? Nico Jackson. So he's in.
Oh wow!
I
mean, you watched him live, Mike. You were actually there.
Yeah, he was cool.
Delays.
But I do.
Atrocious.
But he's okay as an option. He's okay. My bench is pretty solid, so I'm happy with him.
Anthony looked at his fixtures because that's what the rest of us have done for the past few weeks.
Course.
When he played
of course.
Luton, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth.
Yeah, that is exactly what I've done. Yeah.
Just so you know, he's played 5 games. Okay, 5 games this season.
Yeah.
He stayed on the pitch for 90 minutes in all but one of them.
Yeah,
which is insane.
In 4 of those 5 games, he's got 1 point.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, I've got
Michael Jackson up front.
He's sitting alongside Alvarez and Haaland because my midfield I really like my midfield. It just happens to this week that I'm going to be playing Jackson. I've got Anthony Gordon for Newcastle away at Sheffield United.
That seems an odd one. They're going to rotate, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, Europe. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. After the European fixtures this week.
Yeah.
And I've bought in Salah because I just think I wasn't sure whether he was the asset that he once had been, but he's returning week in, week out, even if he's just popping up with a couple of skanky assists. He's had 5, 5, 5, 8, and 10 so far.
Yeah.
And I just think you've got to make room for him. So I've bought him in. I've taken Son out. I bought Salah in, shuffled around a bit and moved Gordon in as well to accommodate him. And yeah, that's my new look team. So my new look team for this weekend is Flecken in goal. I've got options across the back of Ruben Diaz, Trippier, Gusto, who actually really did impress me on Sunday. Udigi and Saliba. So they're my defenders. My midfielders are Gordon and Burmo, Salah, Maddison and Ward-Prowse. And my top 3 up top are Jackson, Alvarez, and Haaland. So as a squad, I'm really happy with how that looks. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's taken me 13 transfers to get there for one reason or another. But I'm gonna stick with that for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I think Salah is I mean, this happened last year. Do you remember? Everyone was like, "No, I don't trust Salah now," and then that was what won me the game. But this year, I've avoided him, and I desperately want him back. And now it would be like taking a hit to get him back. It's frustrating. But what you've done is you're fine with taking it. I haven't taken a hit all season.
Well, I hadn't until last week.
Well, yeah, but now you've taken a 48-point hit in 2 weeks. So you know, and it feels nice that I haven't taken a hit, and it feels nice that every week I look at my team and think they've all got good fixtures, but actually, I think I need to be more aggressive and go after players like Salah.
Well, just on Salah, he was my only bright spark for me this week, boys. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
10 points. 10 points. A bit like you, Phil. I mean, you talk about the averages. We can't actually hit the averages this season by the looks of it. 4 times out the first 5 weeks. I've not even made the average score, which is fairly tragic. But Salah was my only bright spot this week. He got me 10 points. Other than that, it was 2s really and 0s all around. And frustratingly, it was between, because I didn't want to go Haaland as captain. I mentioned this in the pod last week. Didn't want to go Haaland because too far behind. It's too boring. It's too predictable. So I wanted to go a different captain. I was stuck between Salah and Maddison.
Oh, Salah would have been good.
Thanks, mate. I went for Maddison because I listened to you when it came to the early game, and then I saw that he had at one point he had 3 assists, but ended up with 2 assists in their win over Wolves. And then I, of course, saw that you'd bought in Maddison, and my heart sank because you've absolutely ruined him. So that was amazing. So yeah, he only got 2 points. So 39 points, boys, net. It's pretty tragic. This affair, isn't it?
Pretty tragic. A whole point more than me, mate.
Well, 2. But yeah, so there we are, languishing well downfield, and about 4.5 million, I do believe, overall. So
on the plus side, Dan,
yes,
I was really excited that come tea time, I realised that this guy had sorted me out on the punt.
Has he though?
Well, every cloud.
Well, I was overjoyed. I thought at least I can finally play player or cheese this season. It's what the listeners want. Tim Ream has come in good. I was cooking. What was I cooking Saturday night? I was cooking a meal for my family. It's the kind of guy I am. I don't know what it was. There's a chance that they didn't like it, but I was cooking, and I had BBC Radio 5 live on. Overjoyed, and then Spurs scored 2 of the latest goals ever, and Mike wins the punt.
Hooray! Kulusevski.
Unbelievable.
Well, I think we all came in because I had Anthony Gordon, aka Claire Bowling, and he got an assist. So ironically, we all had a return on that one, but I think Mike wins when it comes to points, I do believe.
Tim Ream got more points than anyone in my team.
Wow.
Still not enough. Well, Mike, over to you, my friend, for the quiz then.
Bring it on, guys. Bring it on. Let's do a quiz.
It's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz. The loser gets their captain picked by a listener with great instinct. Sometimes cruel and sometimes kind. The listener is always right. It's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz.
Sorry for the ever so slight pause there. A little bit of windy pops. Now, this is the quiz I have been waiting to do for some time now. And it's very, very simple. You're going to alternate, guys. And I'm going to put 20 seconds on the clock each time because I think this is quite tricky. Great. But if you run out of time, then that's game over. Basically, there are 18 assets on the Fantasy Premier League game who have at one time or another been registered either on loan or for real with AFC Bournemouth.
Surely
and
there's
I
more
want you
than
to...
that.
No, there's not. There's 18.
Well, what about Bournemouth players?
Well, yeah, we're not counting current squad members.
Oh, okay. Fine. I mean, you dismissed that like I should have guessed.
Sorry. Yeah. So 18 players that now currently play or are registered with Premier League clubs and are assets on the game. Phil, because you got more points than Anne, I'm going to let you go first. And I will keep restarting the 20 seconds in case we need it. Have we got any tension music? We still haven't downloaded any tension music for this podcast, have we?
Not for this one. We invest all our time and energy in the Chip Advisor podcast. A new episode out now about mushy peas. Who thought you could talk about mushy peas for an hour? But you can. I've got this.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
20 seconds start now.
Joel Ward.
Oh, I was going to say that one.
And at that, I'm out.
Joel Ward from Crystal Palace. Yeah, Anthony.
Oh, just to clarify, this is only players who've been with us on loan, not permanent.
No, on loan or permanent.
Okay. Callum Wilson.
Oh, Callum Wilson is there. Phil.
Oh, okay. Is Matt Ritchie actually in the playing squad at Newcastle? I'm going to go for Matt Ritchie.
Matt Ritchie is there with Newcastle. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, that's also who I was going to go for. Oh dear, oh dear.
Can you pause this 1 second? No, don't worry, carry on.
Oh, Nathan Ake.
Oh no, I'm in
Nathan
trouble.
Ake, very good. Play on player, Phil.
Oh, this is not good news for people who want Phil to win. Ah, gosh. Is there really that many people?
Yeah.
That's quite incredible.
18, you say?
Yeah, and you got 5 seconds.
What?
Oh dear.
Oh no, that
This is
seems
incredible.
a bit harsh.
I mean, he did specify the time, Philip.
Oh,
Okay,
dear.
I will go for
But that must be 5 seconds.
But
Come on.
yeah.
Gabriel Jesus.
Oh my good grief. Okay,
I've got
game
another one
over.
if it helps.
Go on, Ant.
Aaron Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale. Lovely
There's
old dog.
loads out there, lads. Loads.
Are there, like,
Please stop the love music.
oh, hang on.
Yeah, loads and loads.
Okay.
Not really.
You could have had people like
Oh dear.
Adam Lallana.
Oh
Good
wow,
idea,
yeah,
man.
of course.
Yeah. Harry Arter, still available as a Nottingham Forest asset.
I mean, what?
Harry Arter's still on there? You're joking.
Yeah. No. Jefferson
didn't he-
Lerma.
Of
Oh,
course,
Lerma,
we could
yeah.
forget Jeff. Oh dear.
Yeah. There's quite
Oh
a few
dear, oh
lads.
dear.
So yeah, never mind. But that means Phil, you will be having your captain picked.
I'll take the win.
Oh,
Thank you very
that's
much.
exciting. I'm getting
Um,
it picked by Lord Ophiuchus on Twitter, who also went for Kulusevski.
Good choice, sir. Good choice.
Nice guy. So
You
yeah.
know Lord Ophiuchus, do you?
Well, we've had chats before.
Have you?
Yeah, on the Twitter.
What have you chatted about? FPL presumably, rather than
Yeah,
Mushy
you know.
peas.
yeah. I've
The
got a
mushy peas, yeah.
feeling. You know what? In the first season when we did this, I've got a feeling that because he had a different name on Twitter. It was like I think I've and I apologize if I'm wrong, but I think this guy used to be called like FPL Neighbours because he and his neighbour had an FPL team. I think
Can we
it's
talk
that
about
guy.
neighbours for a minute, please?
We will.
Because
We will. But this
Okay.
guy once
All
he
right.
had to choose my captain once before, and he chose someone, and I was like, "Oh, for goodness sake!" And he said, "Fine," and I got
He
the
was
wrong
fuming.
end pick.
I think I remember
Yeah.
this. Yeah, you've angered him.
Yeah.
Angered
But
him.
but he's a lovely guy. We've chatted since. Yeah, let's talk Neighbours. I watched it last night.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no. It's still on.
my understanding is because a lot of us
Back
tuned in for
on.
the last episode to say goodbye. My understanding is they fast forwarded to what
2
seems like
years.
a parallel universe,
2
and
years.
Toadie is now married to somebody that was going out of Paul Robinson.
Yeah. So Therese. So
What?
I watched. That was a spoiler alert for people who are a day behind and want to watch this later. We should have warned people really.
Should we?
But the end of the first episode back of Neighbours available on Amazon Freevee, Toadie, the twist is it looks like Therese is marrying Paul again, but it pans to Toadie and she's marrying Toadie. Now I'm wondering whether they're gonna this episode today, because I haven't seen it, they're going to pan back and it's gonna be Bouncer having another dream.
I'm just.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm totally perplexed. Not since J.R. Ewing in the 80s on Dallas have we seen such drama and
Yeah.
confusion on a soap opera.
Well, as Neighbours tagline says, it's unmissable drama.
Well, I'm confused why they kept on going after it left BBC. To be brutally honest, those were the good old days.
Oh, you people are miserable.
Big Brother when it left Channel 4. I'm with you. Bake Off when it left Channel 4.
Yeah.
To some extent, Taskmaster when it left Dave.
Bake Off left Channel 4.
I think he means.
Oh, it left the BBC. I do apologise.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Oh
that.
yes.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So then, the players that we are not actually picking for our teams who are actually doing well at the moment, Anthony, are you basing your squad on form or fixtures?
Last week's points. You know how I play this game. I do what Mike's child does, and I watch Match of the Day. I see who scored, and I think, yeah, I'm going to put them in. Which is what I did with Slippersley for Liverpool, and he got me 2 points.
Yeah.
Slippersley. But he did look lively. I mean, I'm actually at the point now, boys, where I want to do something fun with my team, try and get some fun back, because we're so far behind, Phil. Even at this early stage, it's a long way back from here.
No, but
do I just rip up my team? Do I just rip up my team
You're
and
not
get a
so
team?
far behind, though, are you?
No, this
Yeah,
is
I
the
am.
thing, Ant, because the scores are so low. A good week might be 55 points and a bad week might be 35 points, but there's only 20 difference. Last season, if you had a good week, you were on like 95 and a bad week on 45. You know, it's a huge difference. This year, there's still plenty of time to catch up because everyone's getting low scores. Even people who are doing well aren't getting massive scores.
Just to be clear, you're only 30. I mean, granted, I've made 13 transfers in the last 2 weeks, but you are only 39 points behind me, and
that is ludicrous. That's
Phil,
one game week.
you're only 30 behind me. So
am I ahead of Ant?
Yeah.
I mean, which is, of course, you're ahead of me, mate. You always beat me. That is insane because you've been. I know, obviously, a lot of that is the transfers, but you've been ridiculously good so far, Mike. So it's pretty condensed. But I am going to look at Newcastle going forward. I have just started watching the documentary on Amazon, by the way, which is very good. What's also amazing is that my wife has been watching it with me, which is quite amazing in itself.
Do you remember a program called The Riddlers?
Do you remember?
Okay, hold on. Let's Phil's going off on a. What's that, Phil?
All of the time we had.
What's that, please, Phil?
You okay?
Yeah. No, it's just
Need
a
an
song that
ambulance?
a song that when I used to go to the gym, it was a song that was on. It's a good song. Yeah, I just can't
sounds
remember.
like it.
I thought it was going to be Michael Jackson. Do you remember the time?
I think it was Jay Sean.
Okay.
You're too old to be saying that.
Yeah, far too old. What were we saying, please? You put me off there.
Newcastle, I am going to target Newcastle assets.
Do you remember the program The Riddlers?
Yeah.
No.
Amanda Staveley's got a look at The Riddlers about her.
Amanda Staveley doesn't look like a real person.
She looks like a scared lion.
Yeah.
She looks like. Have you seen the film Megan?
No.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
It looks horrifying.
Yeah, but I think she'd be like the mum version.
Isn't it called Fregan? Fregan.
No, I think it's just called Megan, mate.
It's spelled with a 3. It's M3 gun.
Okay, but you didn't call the boy band 5 did you?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Can I just quickly get back to
5
actual FPL and just read out Newcastle's next 5 games?
Oh yeah, do it.
5, okay,
which is why I'm targeting them. Are you right there, Phil? Still going? Okay.
Yeah.
Sheffield United away, Burnley home, West Ham United away, Crystal Palace home, Wolves away. If you look at the fixture difficulty rating chart, it's nothing but green for Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I am going to get my my punt from last week, Claire Balding, into my team somehow.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've got him in. I've got him in.
Well, I'm going to copy them because I really like the look of those fixtures.
What I'd really love is one. Phil, shut the. What I'd really like is one of either Wilson or Isaac to be consistently firing up front and playing up front, because they'd be a shoe in then. So on my alternative team that I haven't made all the transfers on, that I don't really like to talk about too much, but is in the top 14k in the world, I've just bought Isaac in up front.
Wow.
And I did that Saturday only to see him on Sunday. Or was it Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night to see Wilson.
Okay.
All right,
I tell you what, if you want
musical Tourette's.
Yeah, because you were saying beforehand that maybe the soundboard needs updating before we came live.
Yeah,
peek behind the curtain. So maybe we just need to sing the soundboard items that we should have put on.
Oh, it's something definitely to consider in a post-production meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm that's a real frustration for me. I think that one of those two, if they were nailing down a spot regularly, would be brilliant. They'd be a brilliant asset. I think there's so many. When I talked about Claire Balding being put in the midfield, well, isn't there a risk of rotation, because they do have a lot of options in midfield. Barnes has come in this weekend and played on the left for them. So it's and it's taken Almiron's spot, who's been playing really, really well. So you just don't know, especially with the Champions League. They play Milan this week. You just don't know quite what they're going to do, and I can handle that on a cheap asset like Anthony Gordon. But if I'm investing one of my 3 striker spots, that's more difficult, and they're not cheap striker spots. Where are they? What, 7.7, 7.8? The two of them. So Whereas for example, just as an example, Cameron Archer's going to play every week, and it's going to pick you up points.
Problem you got is it's currently the 19th of September. Newcastle have got Milan, Sheffield United, Man City, Burnley, PSG, West Ham, Palace, Dortmund, Wolves, all before the end of October. They're going to be rotating. They're going to have to rotate.
That is a fixture. But I mean, obviously, it is exciting for them as a club to be back in the Champions League. But that is a very good point. There's a factor that I hadn't really thought about. Champions League. How's that going to affect them? They've had a lot of disappointing assets. So just looking at someone like Bruno, for example, who we know how good he's been since he signed. He's played 90 minutes in all but one game and he's scored 8 points this season.
He's played so deep. He's so deep.
It's insane.
I can understand why you would keep hold of Rashford. I didn't because I wanted to accommodate Salah this week. But I can understand why you would keep hold of Rashford. He's the only one of those assets right now that in United that I would be sticking with because their fixture run is pretty decent over the next few weeks. But yeah, Bruno surely is one that people are going to be shifting out, even with the good fixtures.
What about Hodgland? And I will call him Hodgland.
Wow, Hoyland.
Hodgland.
Listen,
Hodgson's son.
I'm sticking with Hodgland.
Okay,
Rasmus in the shadows. If you want me to start singing,
Definitely you can bank on any United asset. Can you, like myself, other than Rashford at the moment, with the absolute state of them 3 defeats in their first 5 games, and they're so easy to get. I mean, Brighton scored some great goals on Saturday, but they were so easy to get defensively, weren't they? All over the shop. Feels like they need Harry Maguire back in that team. Give him a bit of stability.
The thing is, you look at that starting lineup that they had against Brighton. It cost them. I think I saw a stat. It cost them something along the lines of 400 million. That starting lineup. And the players that are there really aren't like you got Bruno, you got Rashford, Eriksen, but really Casemiro, they're not incredible. The rest of the players around them, but Brighton's team that beat them cost 17.5 million.
Yeah, did you see what Ten Hag came out afterwards and said about Brighton spending loads of money, which was fairly comical. What an absolute doofus. Yeah, he's on borrowed time though, I think, as well. So
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, look, it's not strictly FPL, but I do think you got to give the guy time. He's the sort of manager that's trying to put his imprint on that whole club, and has been quite the disciplinarian. He's seen out Ronaldo. He's seen out some of the bigger egos in the club. He's brought his own players in. I don't think at this time for United shipping him out and then bringing somebody else in who's going to have to deal with his squad. Makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure where they'd go to next either, United. So
that's a good point.
The thing is that they're not playing well. So even though United have got Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield United as their next 4, they're not playing well. At home, their fans are on their back from early in the game. They're getting frustrated, and I think that games at home to Palace will know exactly what to do to frustrate them. So I
think there's quite a lot. We're all guilty of this. We've got a very small snapshot of the season that we're looking at, and I think they finished the game at Arsenal, which they could very easily have won. Very easily have won. They finished with a central back pairing of Maguire and Evans. So
he's England's best centre back, Johnny Evans.
I don't know how he's not being picked. It's an absolute mystery to me.
We can talk about how dreadful United were at the weekend, and I understand that. But actually, Brighton have been the dominant team in all of their games. So, but for that West Ham defeat at home, they'd be top of the table, I think, or joint top. So, or they'd be right up there anyway. So I think taking a snapshot of that game and saying, well, United are really flailing. I think you also have to, the impact of whatever's going on with Sancho, with Anthony, with the Maguire drama. There's a lot of noise around the club, and I think that does make things difficult.
I mean, they wouldn't be top. They're on 6 points after 5 games.
Who are Brighton?
No, Man United.
No, I'm talking about Brighton. If they'd not lost their West Ham game.
My apologies. If we were editing this podcast, I would edit that out because I'm going to sound stupid.
It happens from time to time, just occasionally. I do think yeah, we're all kind of jumping. Oh gosh, they've had this run of 5 games where they've not been particularly fantastic. There's a lot of stuff going on there. If this was mid-season, they'd ride it out and they'd go again. And I think, you look at the fixtures. Like I say, I wouldn't be moving to a United asset. But if you've got someone like Rashford, I'd definitely be looking at sticking with him for now.
Would you? So what teams would you be targeting? Because
well, it's difficult because game week 9 is where it changes up for teams like Liverpool. So I would start to be switching out Chelsea assets for Liverpool right now. Definitely. Game week 9 onwards for Liverpool reads Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford. So that's really nice. In the short term, West Ham this weekend, away at Tottenham and away at Brighton are 2 tricky fixtures for Liverpool. But yeah, I like their run after game week 9. In terms of other teams, again, after game week 9, you've got game week 8 for Villa it turns. So I think Diaby is a brilliant asset, and he's probably one I'm going to try and shoehorn in at some point. Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, and Fulham from game week 8. So they're on a really good run there.
Are you tempted? Because I've heard in the FPL community, people going for Luton assets because they got 2 games next week. Burnley because they got 2 games next week.
No.
Are you going to fall into that trap?
Absolutely, under no circumstances, no. Because you think about the hit potentially you've got to get that. But either you're using both your free transfers to bring, let's say, Morris in and Morris out.
You don't want to be a Morris. You don't want to be a Morris dancer.
No, very good, very good.
Or a Morris Minor.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It doesn't work as well, but that's fine.
You could take it. You could take a Morris. You could take a Morris Minor hit. I mean,
clever. That's better.
Thanks for joining in.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, to either use both your free transfers on what may be gaining switching from a 2-point week with Morris to a 4-point, like doesn't excite me. What I will say is Anderson, main man, getting loads of praise at the moment from pundits. Mads Anderson still 4 million on the game as one of those. If you're looking for an enabler in defence, definitely look at him. Threat every week from set pieces. And yeah, with that double game week in mind, he might be one that you could just pop in your defence as one of your 5 and work with for the rest of the season. Yeah,
I'm really struggling with bench fodder. Normally I have some playing bench fodder, and this year, like my bench the other day was Estupinan, Saliba, and Alvarez. I don't enjoy having a good bench. It's not fun.
But I do think you need a good bench now. I really do. I think you need depth. I worry for people that have got, that have just made up their bench with people like, I don't know, Baldock or. Yeah, but you need players that are going to consistently play.
Yeah, but okay. So Anderson's 4 million and he's going to consistently play.
Yeah.
So he's a good bench option.
He's a good pick.
Cheap.
Oh yeah, he's a good bench option this cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you need players that are playing. So many teams I see out there have got benches that have just whacked a 4.5 million striker in there because it works. Why you wouldn't go to Archer at the moment, I don't know. But in terms of teams, your original question was teams that I'm targeting, and there are 3 in terms of fixtures that stand out, and they are Newcastle here and now, Liverpool not far off, and United here and now. Man United, that is. Those 3 are the pick of the fixtures. So yeah, you've got some very overinflated, I think, assets in United. So that makes life difficult. But Liverpool, there's lots of value. I think Szoboszlai is a great pick, Ant. I think that's really going to come good for you.
I hope so. I need to be patient with his 2-pointers. But
surely the player everyone wants is Son at the moment. I know he didn't do much against Sheffield United, but he was
just taking him out, mate. Just taking him out.
You did
tough games, Phil. Arsenal, Liverpool.
Took him out. Yeah, he was one of my 9 transfers in last week with Son, and he's one of my 4 out this week.
Oh my good grief! He's back.
He's playing against the right teams for him to be playing against.
Yeah, you're right. There's the low block, as they call it now, or parking the bus. He doesn't play well against that. That doesn't suit his game. And you're right. He's playing against teams in the next few weeks that will open up in terms of Arsenal and Liverpool, particularly. But yeah, I'm not sure. And Richarlison came in and scored and assisted. And who's to say that he won't now get a start, and then Son's pushed out wide where he looked pretty ineffective at the start of the season. So jury's out. It's a lot of money to invest in a player where you're not really sure where they're going to be.
I'm going to throw a club out there, boys, that you've not mentioned yet. Not in the next 2 game weeks, but after that, very nice fixtures. Bournemouth. We've
Go on,
actually,
then.
I know we've only had 3 points from our first 5 games, but if you look at the results, I'd argue only to be really what's expected against the clubs we've played. And I know we've got Brighton away on Sunday, Arsenal home, but after that we've got Everton, Wolves and Burnley. And I was sat there watching that game on Sunday in pretty much disbelief at the strength of our bench. I mean, I would argue it's one of the strongest benches we've ever had, and it was far stronger than Chelsea's. And we've actually got players now. I mean, you look at someone like Semenyo, he was first on my bench, but he's been brilliant so far this season. He couldn't even get on the pitch. So, I think we should start to make hay, hopefully, win those games. And the likes
But
of,
as an FPL manager, that's difficult. Because that depth of squad means that you don't know who's going to be starting. I think that's actually difficult from an FPL perspective. And actually for Bournemouth, they've got that 3-week window where they play Everton away, Wolves at home, Burnley at home. But then they follow that up with Man City away and Newcastle at home. So
easy.
But I'm not sure that I'd be. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know how much I love Bournemouth, but I'm not sure that I'd be investing in assets for that 3-game week, knowing that actually I'm probably going to need to move them on again immediately after that Burnley game.
Tell you who I felt sorry for the weekend in terms of FPL. My 12-year-old lad who absolutely loves Neto. For some reason, had him on his bench and he got 10 points. Yeah, he was quite annoyed about that. But yeah, we looked good. I thought, I thought we looked fairly solid. We do need a defensive midfielder. Then we need to get Tyler Adams back. But
Look,
that's
the first. You say we look solid, but that's the first clean sheet we've had so far this season, and we're at game week 5. So I just think, I mean, you might be a bit dewy-eyed about Bournemouth this week. I think, and I think from an FPL perspective, I think that's, I can't sit here and honestly say I think that Bournemouth defensive assets are what you need in your squad right now.
Can we talk about Crystal Palace? Because they've got three good fixtures coming up, and they are very attacking for Palace. They're getting goals at least.
They've got a bit of an injury list at the moment, haven't they? And again, they're another club who managed to concede 2 goals after about 95 minutes.
Well, my punt this week is playing for Crystal Palace, and I'm just going to call it now, Mateta. I mean, I really like Edouard. Yeah, Andre Ayew is injured, and Mateta played 70 minutes at the weekend.
Okay.
And Fulham have conceded more chances from open play than any other team so far this season. So, and Crystal Palace like to get on the attack. So that feels like a pretty sensible pick on paper as my punt. So I like Mateta. Edouard is the standout. Not many people are jumping on Edouard, and I suppose I do understand why, but he's got to be worth a look. He's consistently getting the points. Their run, like you say, Phil, is pretty decent. They do have Man United away, but what does that mean at the moment? You don't know. But he's only selected Edouard by 4.2% of the players in the game, and he's already racked up 32 points. So
5th highest scorer in the game.
He's what?
Crazy.
Sorry,
the 5th highest scorer in the game.
So 8 points at the weekend and 13 the week before. Playing. He's started every single game. For what is 5.6 million. You look at that compared to Jackson, and I'm sort of wondering if I've made a bit of an error there, not just bringing Edouard in as my third striker alongside Alvarez.
Why didn't you make your 5th transfer of the week and do a little swap?
I'll sit tight because I know that I've got to move Chelsea assets out. But yeah, I'll probably be looking to go from Chelsea to Spurs, Liverpool, Newcastle rather than Palace. But yeah, he wouldn't be a bad option.
Rolling back to talking about neighbours, what about Jared Bowen?
Wow. Okay. I think Ward-Prowse is the better pick of the two.
Yeah, agreed. He's set pieces.
Yeah,
he's in the points. He's been brilliant, isn't he? He's hit the ground running for West Ham. So as much as it pains me to say that,
he hasn't blanked all season for West Ham.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse 9 points.
Fairly annoying, that isn't it?
7 points. Yeah.
And I've had all of those points. which has been nice.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
in your various teams, I mean, I
No,
could
no,
have
in
8
this
on
team.
the team.
No, in this, I've got 2 teams, and in this team, I've had him since the start, since the movie made. So
I thought you transferred him out.
no,
Oh,
I've got
okay.
him, mate. He's on my bench. He's on my bench this week at the moment. But whereas Bowen, there's twice where he's failed to haul. I mean, he's still got he got a 9, then a 2, then a 12, then a 7, then a 2. So I mean, he's still a decent asset. But I think like you say, set pieces is a big thing. I think the last 2 assists that Bowen have come in open play rather than set plays, which is encouraging if you're a Ward-Prowse owner. But also we get to see a penalty, and I suspect that will fall to Ward-Prowse.
What are you doing with your Arsenal assets? The next 4 games:
Oh yeah, tricky.
Spurs at home, Bournemouth away, Man City at home, Chelsea away,
and Nketiah's going.
and they've obviously got Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Why is
Nketiah's getting the
Nketiah
helmet, I
going,
think.
Ant? Is that because you're fearful of Jesus coming and taking his spot?
No, it's because he's not getting many points. And also, those fixtures aren't brilliant. I mean, he's only got 2 in the last 2 game weeks. Bear in mind, obviously, at the weekend they're away to Everton. Yeah, and those fixtures are tough, especially next week against Bournemouth. That's probably the hardest game he's got. So it makes sense to ship him out now.
Do we want to? Sorry, mate. Carry on.
No, that's it. I'm going to ship him out. But
I'll
don't
tell you
listen to a
where-
man who is below average in many ways.
I think I can pinpoint the moment that that is harsh, and I think you're slightly above average in some ways. So,
Thanks, Simon Partridge.
the moment that that the season went wrong was when I thought, oh, let's go differential.
Who's going down? I'm yelling timber. Who's going down?
And he went, oh, it's on loop.
Oh, Simba.
Yeah, so he went off injured, and since then, in like the first game, and since then, nothing good has happened. Nothing
No,
good has
true
happened.
story.
Should we
Boys,
look at the fixtures?
I was just going to say that. Should we quickly go through them? And tell
Go
you
on,
one thing to note, which is super exciting about this weekend. There's as many games on a Sunday as there is on a Saturday. Not sure if that's a good thing or a
Yeah.
bad thing. Not so keen about that. But anyway, I'll quickly run through them. Saturday, then we've got 3 o'clocks, a London derby, Palace and Fulham. Big old game, I think, near the bottom, Luton against Wolves. I think if Luton don't win that, I mean, I think they're in trouble anyway, but that is a big game for them. Man City, you would expect them to have a home banker home to Nottingham Forest. I mean, Forest have been good this season. Not sure if you saw Hudson-Odoi's goal last night for Forest. That was an absolute beauty. Brentford against Everton. I think I'm going to join the party a bit later, bring in Mbuemo this week.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring in Mope.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I should. That's a good chat for maybe I'll swap
Against his old team that he hates.
Yeah, it feels like it's meant
Or
to be.
Is he on loan? Maybe he can't play this week.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
actually.
do the research for you. You
Thank
carry
you,
on.
mate. Okay, and then we end with an 8 o'clock game on Saturday. That's exciting. Burnley at home to Manchester United. What bets on Burnley winning that game? What do you think, boys?
I reckon that's got draw written all over it.
I'm
Mike,
a bit
any
distracted.
standouts from that?
I'm a bit distracted because I've just made my 5th, 6th, and 7th transfers of the week. I should stop listening to myself on this pod, but I've made too many good points not to bring players in. So Edouard's in, Diaby's in, and I've bought Anderson in from Luton.
Hang on, who did you right?
I took out Jackson.
Yeah, so the guy you just brought in, so you spent 8 points on Jackson in and out.
Yeah.
This is the guy who we're losing to, by the way, Phil, and we're losing despite the fact he made 32 points in transfers. I mean, what are we doing?
We won't be losing.
Even after these transfers, I'm still above you, which is great fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diaby, I've just bought him in for Anthony Gordon, who I bought in again over the weekend, so he's gone. And Anderson, I've just bought in for Saliba, given that run of fixtures that you mentioned. So
you just got rid of Pat Butcher, having just bought her in.
Yeah, and same with Jackson. So that's 16 points I've wasted there. Let's be real about it. But I like that lineup now. I'm happy.
Not too sure about the minus points, boys.
Sorry,
a little bit short for time. Well,
yeah,
certainly
sorry.
I am.
Yeah.
I'll quickly run you through Sunday's games. Lovely game to start, live on Sky. North London derby, Arsenal against Spurs. That should be a really good game. Top of the table. South Coast derby, Brighton against Bournemouth. Chelsea against Villa. I fancy Villa to win that one. Liverpool against West Ham, and then we finish Sheffield United against Newcastle. Just quickly, boys, any standouts from there?
Oh, the problem I had last weekend is I picked my team purely on the games I could watch on TV. So that's why
Well,
I didn't start
don't ever
Alvarez.
change.
That's I didn't start Alvarez because this game wasn't on TV. So I played Burmo instead, just because I didn't want to watch Burmo get points and and him be on my bench. So this is the problem I've got approaching this game week. I've got assets there that I probably don't want to play, like Saliba, but he's going to be on TV. So do I play him?
I'm going to say
Probably
no.
would.
I've just taken him out.
Yeah, that could relate to any person in the game, Mike. Yeah,
It's true.
Okay,
Boys,
so
punt time.
let's do our punts. Punts.
Mateta, Akuna Mateta.
Okay.
I'm going to go Philip. I was going to say Billing then, but as we know, he's not Billing anymore. It's just Philip.
No, just to be clear, you can now. Sorry, just to this is a little bit of, like you say, a little peek behind the curtain. You can now call him Philip Billing, but on his shirt he's going to be Philip.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was reading the
Interesting.
lineups on Sunday, I was told you can now say Philip Billing again, but he's going to retain Philip on his shirt. So
Okay, that's strange, but we'll go with it.
Well,
Okay.
it
Well,
is-
I'm going
it
for
is.
Philip Billing.
Whilst I find someone, who's your captain this week, gents? I'm
Haaland.
gonna go Jeremy Doku for my punt.
Oh, okay, nice. That's nice. That
0.7% ownership. He's playing Nottingham Forest at home.
that's strong. How much is he?
6.5 million. I'd
I
transfer the
tell
RB
you
if I were
what.
Wow.
Tell you what, yeah, I might swap the RB out for Doku.
Oh, no. Transfer number 9.
No, I won't. I'm going to stop there for now. Cool.
Doku there.
I like that. I like that a lot as a pick.
Just quickly, in terms of captain, I mean, I think so many people in the game are going to go with Haaland, aren't they? Home to Nottingham Forest. I'm not, because it's boring and I'm so far behind.
Are
I
you
can't
not?
bother that. No. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Salah or Sly.
Yeah,
To West Ham. So yeah, why not?
It did sound like you did slobber Sly everywhere.
I did. I certainly did. Yeah, I can't be bothered with Haaland as captain. It's too boring.
Oh wow.
I'm too far
Okay.
behind.
Well, I don't know who my captain will be, but I will not be offended whoever you choose, Lord Ophiuchus. I am more than happy for you to go rogue and really try and pummel me, but ideally not Flecken.
Sounded vaguely
Please do Flecken based on that.
Okay, great. But maybe Son, someone like that. I don't own him yet, but you never know your luck. Right. Have a good week, everyone, and thank you so much for listening.
Much love.
If indeed. You
Have a good week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye now.